3 South African business leaders flew to the neighboring country of Zambia today for unprecedented talks on the future of their country with black guerrilla leaders outlawed by the South African government. The businessmen who control much of South Africa's vast wealth were acting independently of their government.
I had the conventional view of the ANC as the devil incarnate. White-hating, murderous, terrorist, communists, Moscow-dominated puppets. I mean, this was the common perception of them.
The meeting was held behind the closed gates of a game reserve in the dry bush of eastern Zambia. The white businessmen represented the highest levels of South Africa's non-government power structure. A year ago, it would have been unthinkable and indicates business's deep concern that the end is coming.
Naturally, the South African businessmen gravitated towards one side of the circle and the ANC on the other side of the circle. And the ice was broken when Oliver Tambo made some quip about the division, the apartheid of the seating arrangements, if you liked, at which stage everybody burst out laughing and we mixed in. The ANC executive, at least a half of them, were members of the South African Communist Party. We were concerned about this. You know, we're businessmen, we're capitalists. But they said that the communists on the ANC executive were ANC members first and Communist Party members second, and that the ANC was not a communist organization. They used Sweden as an example of a model democracy. I was surprised at that. It was obvious to me that the ANC had an overwhelming nostalgia to return to South Africa, which they were then unable to do, and I found it very easy to like them on a personal level.
We admired the fact that this group of business leaders decided to come to Lusaka, notwithstanding expressions of disapproval by P.W. Botha. We thought it was a recognition on their part that it's not really going to be possible to resolve the problems of South Africa without involving the ANC.
No question that it was a turning point. I mean, I think what happened is that we lit the fuse, and then it just ran from there on. And meetings with the ANC then became, over a period of probably 18 months, flavor of the month.
We had a meeting with a group of leading Afrikaner personalities. I remember them reporting that the then Minister of Finance, he had reported to Cabinet that indeed the whole system of apartheid was becoming financially unaffordable.
There was a meeting in my home in Walton-on-Thames of Oliver, Thabo Mbeki, myself, and Christopher Ball, who was head of Barclays Bank in South Africa.
And the chairman of Barclays Bank said that by the year 1990, the country, South Africa, must be well on the way towards the resolution of this problem of apartheid.
And Oliver shook Chris's hand and said, I want to tell you how honored I am to have met you. And my reaction was one of absolute shock. If anyone was honored by that, Chris Ball was. But for him, any white in Chris Ball's position who could bring himself so far as to understand what the Africans were fighting for deserved honoring.
He wasn't looking for enemies to smite. His whole approach was build up the number of friends you have and neutralize the enemies. And if necessary, create space for the enemies now to enter into dialogue and transform and change.
And shortly after this, Barclays disinvested.
Good evening. One of Britain's biggest investors in South Africa, Barclays Bank, have announced that they're selling up.
It's the largest pullout of foreign business to date in South Africa, which has already seen.
Britain has done an about-turn on its policy on South Africa. It's offered to meet Oliver Tambo, the leader of the African National Congress. It'll be the first meeting between a minister and a representative of the organisation, which is banned in South Africa.
Mr. Tambo, could we ask you to come to the microphone, sir?
What are you doing here?
Right, we're hoping you're going to tell us something.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. You have turned me into a little film star.
Mr.
This man, Oliver Tambo, who the Reagan administration once considered a communist and a terrorist, became a Washington VIP today, a symbol of the administration's abrupt shift from a policy of dealing exclusively with South Africa's white minority government to opening a dialogue with the black nationalists determined to destroy it.
He had a high sense of values, integrity, a sharp mind, very strategic.